Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me. I'm here with the second video in the series of making a journal from a hardcover book start to finish. Okay, so the last video what we did was make our covers. We made our spines and did our covers, and we did 3 of them. So today, in the second video, I thought I'd start off with one and see how far we get and see how long it takes us to kind of finish this cover. And if we have time, we'll do the other 2, and if we don't, that'll be a second video, because I don't want to make this video too long. But what I did was go through the pages. First of all, I went through the pages that were from this William Shakespeare journal, and here they are. And I picked out the ones I liked, and I was thinking I would, because this is okay. It's like a marbled look here to the inside covers, but I would like something prettier. So I was kind of considering some of these pictures. They're pictures from William Shakespeare, and I was thinking maybe I'd put one of these, a page of a picture that I liked inside the front and back covers. But then I started looking through my scrapbook paper and thought, what? If this was going to be my journal, what would I want? I mean, I think this is pretty, but would I want that in my journal? Would I want that as the inside cover? I thought, really, I would really want just something really prettier. I mean, that's pretty, don't get me wrong, but I just would want something prettier. And that can be a part of the book, but I think I want something different on the inside of the cover. So I was going through my scrapbook paper, and this one just kind of jumped out at me. And it's the same color pretty much, and more goes along with the colors on the front of the cover here. As you can see, I think it looks nice with it. So I am going to go see what I can do with this. I don't know if it's enough to cover the front and back, but I'm going to cut off this little piece that is the strip on the top first and just see how far it goes. I have this whole paper pack, not whole paper pack, I've used some of it, but I have a good part of this paper pack here, so I could look through if this won't cover the front and back. Then I can look for more, but I think I can do it in a way that it will cover, or hopefully will cover the front and back. Let me just see. It's 12 by 12, so that's even 6 and 6 on either side. So let's just see. Let me just kind of like make a little fold here and see how far over would 6 inches go. Oh, it goes pretty far. Okay, because I have fabric to go over the spine, right? So I think this would actually work. Okay. So in the interest of, I'm trying to do everything I do on camera. This is going to be a detailed, could be repetitive, detailed kind of craft with me, and a real-time craft with me, and type of tutorial also, tutorial/craft with me. So, okay, so I cut that in half, and now I'm going to measure the length. Got a little piece of garbage here. Let me get that off. Okay, so now that looks like a good, decent cut here. Here's the other side, but this is going to be glued down. So let me just think for a second. Do I want to fold this up and make a pocket here? Let's see what's on. This side has a pretty little decoration on it, so I could do this. Put it down like this and then fold this up. Pretty decoration, pretty pocket. I think that's a decent idea. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold this up. And I always like a little bit of the edge of the inside of the cover to show if it looks nice, you know what I mean? So this one has a real nice little edge here. So I'm going to fold this in a way that I'll have the length will be so that the edge will show all the way around when I glue it down. We'll have a little edge from the outside original cover there. Okay, so that's probably going to be the inside of the front. Let's see what we can do with the inside of the back. That also has a little decoration right here. So let's do the same thing. That'll work out really well and really pretty, right? And the gold matches the gold here, as you can see. Hopefully you can see. So I think that's really neat. Okay, now let's fold this one up. See how that one looks. Okay. There we go. Yes, I like that a lot. I think that's going to be really pretty. Wow, that's perfect. I pretty much love it. Okay. Now, if I glue those down, here's my fabric. And I picked out this pretty fabric because it grabbed me. I looked at all of my fabric to find a piece of fabric. So let me show you what this looks like on the outside. This is what grabbed me when I put it on the outside. I had another fabric picked out that was 99% it, and then I picked this one up and I was like, oh man, this is so pretty, and it really kind of tones down the seriousness of this cover. It's kind of like William Shakespeare, you know what I mean? And then so this is like, oh, pretty, you know, so it kind of tones down the serious William Shakespeare-ness of the front cover here. And it goes, it's weird how colors, and funny how colors kind of grab you, because I don't know if you can see what it goes with, but it goes with this cape right here. It's really funny how that color, when I put this up against here, somehow that cape pulled in this color, and he's got that same color on his leggings here. So it just went, it just grabbed me and said, this is it. And his feather, I think, has that color in it too. And just those little bits of color pulled this in for me. I don't, you know, I'm not a color expert or anything, but that's what did it for me. So, and so then we're going to wrap that around, and it'll be like that inside too. And it'll all be pretty, I'm sure, when we're done. We'll even have pockets, so that's awesome. So first, I like my fabric to cover the paper. You know what I mean? Like this usually. I think that's how I usually do it. But let's just see. Let's make sure that's how we want it. Let's see how it would look if our paper covered the fabric. Because I have seen that done too, you know? Like it would be wrapped around like this. And then the paper could go over. But you can see why I like the fabric over. I don't know. I just like the fabric over the paper. Yeah, I'm going to want the fabric over the paper. So, and I haven't cut my strip yet. This is I believe this is a fat quarter. So, this is the measurement of a fat quarter. So, I'll be able to cut a nice strip out of this and still have a lot left for something else. And that's my favorite size of fabric to get, a fat quarter. Then I have plenty for a journal. Even if I wanted to cover the whole front and back cover with it, I would have plenty there to do that with. So that's my favorite size, fat quarter. I'd have to look up the exact size in inches, but it's a perfect size, I think, if you're trying to get a measurement of good sizes of fabric to get for a journal. That's what I like, fat quarter size. So I'm going to use some art glitter glue on here. This is paper going over paper, and this duct tape. So I'm just going to glue down. Let's see. I'll glue down my pockets after. Well, let me think about this for a second. Sometimes I like to sew my pockets down. So do I want to sew these down or glue them down? I think that I can't really picture sewing on here. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. But not right now. I'll glue them down after we glue down the back, and then I'll glue down the pockets. Just in case, you never know what might happen in between now and the time we glue down the pockets. So let's glue down the back first. Let's see if we can get our glue flowing here. And I'm going to make a nice crease here again. Just push this down tight because I was kind of just doing it to see if that's how I wanted it. So now it's down, nice tight fold there. And yeah, this was double-sided scrapbook paper, so I like that when you're making, like, there's certain things, because you can fold up and you have that design on the back to fold over and have it like this. This worked out like a pocket design for the, you know, the other side when you fold it over. Okay, glue. It was coming out and then it stopped. It's, let's see, well, the sun came out here, but it's probably not that warm outside. It's probably like, I don't know, it might have got up to 50 today. Well, that's pretty warm. Okay, real-time crafting. Problems with glue. I might have to run my pin up in there again. Get it flowing. Huh. Weird that it started and then it stopped. Let's do this. Let's poke a hole in here. Gonna poke it around in there and see if we can get it going a little better. There it goes. That is weird, but that's art glitter glue for you. I love it, but it would be nice if it flowed a little better. But I love it so much, it's worth it. Worth its idiosyncrasies to use it. To get a nice strong bond between, you know, whatever you're gluing down. Okay, got my edges real good. Let's see if we can get some on the middle. I'm all over now. Just a thin layer because we don't want any lumps or bumps under our paper here. Art glitter glue will not make this type of paper wrinkled or anything like that. I haven't used it on really thin paper, I don't think, that I can remember, but I haven't had any problems with it. If it's real thin paper, I would probably use, you know, glue stick instead of any type of wet glue. Okay, let's put this down. We are leaving the edges, gluing it away from the edges and leaving our edges to show. So that looks good. I was very anxious to get in here and work on these. I couldn't wait to get in here. But I had that little home project that I talked about to finish. So I finished that, thank goodness. When did I finish it? This morning, I guess. And then I had another, just my regular stuff to do. My regular weekend house cleaning type stuff. Got that done. I said, oh my goodness, I still have time in the day. I can't believe it. I thought I wasn't going to have any time by the time I got everything done. But I focused. I focused and got it done. So I'm very happy now. I get to be in here in my craft room and have some fun. Okay. Got a hair here from me, I'm sure, getting into my glue. So let's get rid of that. Okay, all over. So if you have any questions about anything I do, just ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to, you know, because I try to tell you everything I'm doing, but, you know, in everything I'm using, but I could forget, of course. I'm human, so I could forget to tell you something, right? Okay, again, a thin little bit of glue all over. You can probably see it pretty good there. Just kind of all over. And I'm going to glue that down, leaving the edges to show again. I love those gold edges, so pretty. Covering all that white part though, that marbly paper part, you know, that was there as the inside paper. Let's make our fold nice and tight there. Now we're going to glue down our pockets. Now our fabric is going to go over our pockets a little bit, like right. I don't want the fabric to go over too far, but I want it to go over, well, I want it to go over enough to cover the duct tape. So it's going to go at least over to here, so about like this. It's going to go like that. So our pocket will be a little bit shorter, but that's fine. We have a pocket, so that sometimes that's all that matters. You have a pocket. If you want a pocket, you have a pocket. And it's pretty. It's already decorated to match, right? Okay, now we're going to do our fabric. Okay. Now, I do like to rip it, so I like the frayed edge if I can get it. I'm trying to see which way I can rip it and make sure I try to do it the right way. It looks like I can probably rip it this way. So let me see how wide I want it. I think if I do it, like I said, I want it to cover up the duct tape, right? And so the duct tape goes about from here to here. So I'm going to make a little cut right here. Let's see, just a little bit over the duct tape, not right to the edge, but a little bit over the duct tape. You know, because we need a little bit of leeway there. I'm going to make a little cut, and I want to see how that's going to look on the front here. See if that same measurement, I mean, it should work, but I just want to see if this is wider or anything here. It looks like it is for some reason. See, it actually is wider. That is weird. How did I do that? I don't know, but it is. It's wider here, so I need to actually measure it from the front and then go to the back. Okay, so I'm going to put it, like I said, a little bit over. I've got plenty of room here. It's not covering up anything but this yellow if I go over the tape. So I'm going over the tape a little bit. Like I said, leeway. Have some leeway. Okay. So over the tape here and over the tape here. Now in the back I can go as far over as I want. I mean, I can in the front too, but I'm just trying not to make it, I don't want it to cover our pockets too much on the inside of the cover. So I'm going to just a little bit over the tape also on the back. I think that'll be good. If I did want to put some trim somewhere, if I did want to put some trim either on the outside or inside of the cover or both, then I would have that leeway also. So right there looks good. Let me make sure before I rip it. A little bit over this side of the tape, a little bit over that side of the tape. Okay, I think we're ready to rip if I cut it on the right. Sometimes I try it, and if this doesn't want to rip here, then I'll have to go over here and do it, you know, for this way. But I think I got it going in the right direction. Let's see if it rips. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, we did it. I did it right. Okay, there's our strip. Doesn't that look nice? And so then there's a couple strings here, just pull those off. I do like the fraying. Now, if you don't like the fraying, you can cut it instead of ripping it down like I just did. Just take your fabric scissors and cut it, or whatever scissors you use to cut fabric, and cut it instead of ripping it. That part where we made the 2 cuts is going to be folded under and covered, so you won't see that. You won't see this rough edge here. So I don't really need to cut that off. So I think we are good to glue here. I can kind of just look at it and see and make sure, yes, it is going to cover. Let's fold it around. Let's pretend like we're putting this down. Okay, we've glued this down, say, like this. Let's pretend and see how it's going to measure up on the inside. Okay, see, it's going to cover. We still have plenty of room in our pockets. This is a little folded in, so it'll be like this. Okay, so I think that's going to be good. I think it's going to be pretty. Okay, let's see. And I think we are ready to glue. I'm going to start on the outside like I just did. And I want to figure out which way I want this fabric though. It looks, I'm trying to see if there's a up or, you know, upright or upside down type of look to it. See, these go both ways. There's one going up, there's one going down, and same with the leaves, going down and going up. So I guess there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down like this, and I have a little bit folded over. I have a little bit going over the top. An inch, I would say, at least 1.5 inches. It doesn't have to, you don't have to do it this way, but I do it this way so that when you're done and gluing, you have a nice fold here. Okay, you don't have to worry about, like if you did it right up to the edge like this, and then brought the other side up, you kind of would have to figure out, you know, cut off the top or make it somehow make it even. If you just fold it over the top, you have a nice looking folded, you know, nice edge, nice finished edge, I would say. Okay, so let's glue it down. We're going to leave like 1 inch above. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I don't think that will show through this. I haven't tested it, but we'll see how I end up doing it. Because if you're worried about it, like say you're going to put your glue down and you make little lines and little squiggles and stuff, and you think you're going to put, if you think you're going to put your fabric down, and if you think you're going to be able to see those little lines and squiggles through your fabric, you just smooth it out. You can do it with your hand. I just do it with my finger. Have a wet wipe available to wipe off your finger. I've already got glue on my hands, so but yeah, just have a wet wipe available, and you know, smooth it out. I still might do that even though this fabric doesn't seem like it would show through. You never know until it happens sometimes. So to be on the safe side, I will get out my wet wipes here and have them ready to grab one out so I can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to start, like I said, my fabric is going to go a little bit over the sides of my tape here, okay? So, and you want to get glue down in your little grooves too, because you're going to push your fabric down into those grooves. You want to get it all nice and tight. Okay, so I'm just going to go along the top first, and you want to go a little quick because you want to get your fabric down before your glue dries, right? That's important, I would say. Okay, I'm going around the outside first, where I think my outside is going to be. Okay, and this art glitter glue, now if you're using tacky glue, I'd be a little bit more, not tacky glue, Fabri-Tac, I'd be a little bit more careful with where you're putting it, because Fabri-Tac is shiny if you have extra on the outside of your, say you get some on the outside of your fabric on the book cover where you don't want it. It dries shiny. From my experience, it dries shiny. So, you would want to be more careful so you don't have that shiny glue on your cover when you're done, you know, because you can see it. You can see it from everywhere. And you can wipe it off as best you can, but I've had experience where it's just hard to get off. It's hard to get off once you get it on there, and it's still, you know, I mean, it's just glue, but if you don't want it there, then you don't want it there, right? You don't want that shiny glue there. You want it to be all nice and smooth and pretty like your book cover. So, okay, I think I got enough on there. I want to make sure I have enough in my grooves here. I think it's good. I'm going to smooth it out with my finger real quick before it dries. Kind of not, I don't think it has to be perfectly smooth, but smooth enough not to have any lumps or lines. So I think that is good. Okay, and I'm going to get my fabric down here before it dries. Inch and a half over the top, and do it quick before it dries so you can move around if you need to. Move your fabric around, pull it around to where you want it. I think I wanted it a little bit over here. I want the front, I want to make sure the front is right. If the back goes over too far, it's not as bad as the front going over too far, you know what I mean? I want the front to be perfect. Okay, so it's going over, and you can always add more glue on the edges, because I can see I'm going to need more glue on the edges, especially on the back here. I think the front is fine, front cover, and I'm going to go ahead and push this down into my grooves before the glue dries. Push it into my grooves. Okay. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. Okay, let's see how it's looking. You don't want it too tight, but you want it tight enough so that you don't have like wrinkles when you are moving it around. But it does need to dry. You can't just like start moving around and say, oh, there's a wrinkle. You kind of like, okay, it looks good. Now I need to stop moving it around, let it dry. Right? Yes, this is true. Okay, so, I mean, it dries fast, but it does need a little bit of time to dry. So while that is drying, I'm going to go and look at my edges here. I need a little glue right here, because I think this went a little over farther than I thought it was going to go. And yeah, see, I'm going to look at my edges and see, yes, they do need some glue here, quite a bit actually. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue under my back edge here. I need quite a bit up from going back to where the fabric is glued and coming out to where the fabric is loose on the edge here. So let's go ahead and get that glued down while we're waiting for this main part to glue down. Okay, we're going to push that down. This is already tight here. I'm kind of doing this to make sure the glue is spread out and not making any lines or anything here under this edge. Okay, I think that edge is down good now. I put quite a bit of glue under there. So we're going to keep this straight, still drying, right? Turn it over and work on this side. Okay, so this is going to go like this. You can still see how it's going to go. Looking good. But this is going to come down here. And then this is going to meet up with the top and kind of go along the top here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because you can see I have too much fabric here. Okay. So let me make sure this is how I want it. Do I want this under and this over? No, I want this under and this over. Okay, and I want a nice edge here. I want this to go right up to the top, and you could glue it and then cut it, but I've done that before, and it's a little bit harder to cut it when it's glued down. It's harder to get an even edge up here when you're trying to cut it when it's already glued down. I know because I've done it that way. And it can be done, but it's just harder. So if I can go ahead and cut it now, you know what I could do is, see, this is kind of like flipping up here. I could go ahead, glue this piece down so that I can see what I'm doing without this flopping up. So let's do that. I want to go down to about right there. Sometimes you just, no two books are the same. So, usually you just kind of play it by ear. And, like from experience now, I know that that's harder to do, cut it off at the top after. It can be done, but it's harder. So now I'm going to do it this way. So as you make journals, if you're new to making journals, you just learn these things by experience and by doing it. It's not wrong to do it the other way. It's just easier to do it this way. For me anyway. So I'm pushing the little fabric into my grooves here. Even though it's just a little piece, I want it to be right. Okay, and I'm going to pull this up. See, now that's down flat so I could see where it's going to be. Before it was flopping up and I couldn't see. It was going to be hard to figure out where is my edge, right? Because that wasn't tight. Now I know exactly where my edge is. So I can pull this up. Let's kind of turn it around and see if we can do this the easiest way possible. Get everything out of my way so we've got a nice even surface here to figure out our edge. And you can see it's right here. And I will probably cut it. Let's see. I can cut it right under the edge. It doesn't have to be right up to the top. Just like the book cover and the paper, we can do the same thing. Use that same kind of technique right here too, and that'll be pretty. It'll be a pretty edge on the top. So I think that's how I'm going to do it, or try to do it. So I've got a little fold here. Trying to make it even. It's like, again, one of those things that you just have to play with a little bit and make sure of where everything's going to be on both, the whole. Okay, I think I have a little fold there I can cut on without making a pencil mark. So I'm going to cut on my fold. And you're saying, well, is it a straight line? Well, I don't know, but it's going to be what I need it to be because I measured to where I could see that edge. Okay, so hopefully it came out right. See, that's what it's going to look like. Now I can always cut off more if I think, oh, it's too high over here. Maybe I want to cut off a little bit more, or maybe I don't. Maybe I want to leave it like that. Let's see. See, I can see the edge here, and over here it's a little higher. So I'm going to see if I want to cut off a little bit more right here. See, it looks straight. So it's like, do I want to do that to myself? Then I'll be, see, if I cut off more, I'll be like, well, now it's crooked. Now it's a crooked line. So I think I'm going to leave it. And let me see, when I pull this tight, see, I could cut off another whole line. That might be what I need to do, because when you glue this down, everything gets tighter and possibly longer, you know? Just picture pushing this down on glue and everything getting tight, and then, oh, all of a sudden it's too long, right? So I'm going to cut off another line right under this line. That's what I'm going to do. So I've got my line. I'm just going to cut off a little sliver here. Trying to cut a straight line. Okay, that's all I cut off. So now let's picture it glued. Again, we're gluing it down. See, that's going to be perfect. That's going to be just perfect and very pretty. Okay, I've got a little piece sticking off here that I want to cut off. A little string, stray string. Okay, now we're ready to glue. See, these things take time, but worth it in the end. Okay, let's get our glue and glue, glue, glue. Now I'm not just going to go all willy-nilly here on the book cover. I don't want glue where I don't want it, so let us. I kind of don't like to put glue on the fabric for the reason of it possibly showing through. So I'm going to leave my fabric down here and just kind of go under the edge because this is where it's going to be. It's straight. This is where it's going to be. Okay, I'm going to go under the fabric right here, all along the edge, so that I don't get fabric or get glue where I don't want it. Go all along the edge here. So if I just picked it up and tried to do it, I would be afraid to get it where I don't want it. Okay, so I'm going to go do that over here. Kind of switch hands if I can glue with this hand. Okay, see, I'm keeping this where the glue is, and then I'm going to make a mark here and go down under, even though I can't see it coming out. I'm just hoping it's coming out, and I'm getting a line of glue right under this edge. Yes, I did. Okay. Now I'm going to get a line of glue underneath the edge here, and I'm going to make a little mark right here. Okay, and then I'm going to go straight across and meet my two lines in the middle. And I can always put on more glue, like we already said. I can always put more glue on under my edges. But right now, we're just trying to get some glue on here and get it on here all glued up before the glue dries, because this does dry fast. And I have a little heater on in here too, so that's probably like helping it to glue even faster. In my grooves, the two grooves where your spine is meets your book cover. Okay, let's put a little bit more right here in between. This side I got plenty on, I think. This side I didn't have that much on. Okay, I think that's good to go. I am going to smooth it out a little bit too. Spread it out, spread it around. Don't want any lines. Okay, but I do need to hurry up. I feel it's starting to harden. Okay, let's get it down. Get our fabric down here. Okay, I'm going to pull it tight. I don't want it too tight though. I want it to be, don't pull it too tight so that it's kind of like crazy when you try to fold it. Okay, get it in our groove. Trying to feel if it's tight enough under there, if the glue's grabbing it. Yep, I think it's good. I'm going to get it in my grooves. And use something like some scissors or something to push it into the groove, whatever you have laying around. Looking good on the front cover, outside cover. Inside cover is looking good. Okay. Now this is a good example of where I might want to add some trim. The outside is all nice and smooth and looks good. There's a little string I need to cut off. But the inside has this where the fabric ended up being in from this right here. So this would be a great place to put some trim if I want to. You don't have to, but I think I probably will look for some trim and something to bring the two colors together even more. Maybe something this color. This, like, it's like a charcoal. That would be cool right here. Or even a lace, or you know, a whitish, you know, or off-white color. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think look for some trim to put here. And so I'm gonna call this one done for now. I don't have any trim picked out, and I've been on here 40 minutes. So that's long enough to spend on this cover. I have the other covers to work on, so I'm going to go get those, work on those, and look for some trim to put on here. And I'll be back with another video on the other two journal covers. So thank you for watching. Hope that helped in the journal making process from start to end. And I see I need a little bit of glue right there. I'm going to add some glue right there. But yeah, this looks good. You know, you can see it's coming along. I need a little bit of glue right here and right here. So I'm going to add that, and I'll be back with you on the next two covers. Thanks for watching today, and have a great night. Happy crafting.